Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
I've just received a call from Secretary Clinton. She congratulated us, it's about us, on our victory. And I congratulated her and her family on a very, very hard-fought campaign.
The president-elect! We reject the president-elect!
We must accept this result and then look to the future. Donald Trump is going to be our president.
We are now all rooting for his success in uniting and leading the country.
Police are moving towards what is left of the crowd.
I pledge to every citizen of our land that I will be president for all Americans, and this is so important to me.
But the problem with Trump is that he brings violence from both sides, frankly. He brings out the worst in everybody. So I'm concerned that we're going to start to see a lot more violence over the next coming months.
I've spent the year watching a polarizing election pull families, friends and neighbors apart. In the end, the voice of the maverick outsider won out. But it's still a hard pill for some to swallow.
Americans had their say, but many don't feel their voices were heard. After a bitter election, this is a nation struggling to heal.
I'm not ready to sit down and be quiet and accept the results.
I really feel more than ever in my lifetime that our rights are at risk.
I'm not willing to give him a chance. I'm not.
No Trump! No KKK! No racist USA! No Trump! No KKK! No racist USA! No Trump! No KKK!
All these kids that are protesting, a lot of them didn't vote. But they're out there protesting. What are you protesting? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah! New fault lines are emerging, and there's fear in the air.
The Trump supporters will feel emboldened. And this area here could really stir our country up into a much more protest and civil war. If the Trump supporters feel so emboldened that they start doing some really dumb, brazen things, they're going to find that they're not the only one carrying guns, and they're going to find that it's going to be really rough out here. And that's a no-win situation for anybody. Nobody wants that. And I'm not encouraging that in at least a little bit, but that's a reality.
Donald Trump has vowed to unify the nation, but his unorthodox campaign exposed some already deep divisions, and his rhetoric has rocked the political world.
Well, Donald Trump represents the sort of existential threat to political correctness, which is the greatest cancer in American public life.
I love the old days. You know what they used to do to guys like that when they were in a place like this? They'd be carried out on a stretcher, folks. See this guy? Oh, I don't know what I said. Oh, I don't remember. I'd like to punch him in the face, I'll tell you.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you.
They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. If I win, they're going back. They're going back. I'm telling you. They're going back. Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall.
Well, I was with my friends and we were sitting at lunch. It just, like out of nowhere, it just started. Slowly at first, you hear people banging on the tables. It gradually got louder. And then more people started to join in. saying, build a wall, build a wall.
A day after Trump was elected, Josie recorded students chanting a familiar slogan from his rallies so she could show her mother. It went viral.
I was really angry, but I also felt sad and disappointed in my fellow students. It hurt me, it hurt my friends who are also Latino, and it hurt everybody. It hurt everybody, and you shouldn't do that. That's wrong.
What would you say to Donald Trump if you could?
What would I say to Donald Trump? I just don't I would say to him, why would you say this? It was so wrong of you to say this. You're a president and you're supposed to respect everybody in the country, and you disrespected me and my culture. I don't understand why.
42 years ago, I suffered the same injustices. Not because I was not a U.S. citizen, but because I didn't speak English. In our family, we're taught Spanish first, so your first real experience with English is in a school system. You know, it was not uncommon that you were locked in the closet or things of that nature, so it was pretty dramatic. But to see us here again, and even at a larger scale, it leaves me speechless, actually. It's unfortunate that it did repeat itself, and that my daughter has the same struggle. 42 years later, how un-American must that be? 42 years later, she has the same struggle.
They're harassing Latinos, Muslims.
I am so saddened to hear that, and I say stop it if it helps. I will say this, and I'll say it right to the camera, stop it.
Just saying stop it, I don't think is enough. His response to the growing number of incidents, I think, was inadequate.
Some Muslim Americans in Dearborn are on edge. In 2007, the Islamic Center of America was vandalized. Now in a different mosque, they are facing another testing time.
I think he can do much more. Hopefully in the next few days, in the coming weeks, he will do more than that. And I think it's incumbent upon him to create an atmosphere of cooperation and healing and to bring the country together.
The president-elect, who rallied against the establishment, is busy building his inner circle, picking Steve Bannon, once the driving force behind the right-wing Breitbart news website, as his chief strategist.
So Breitbart News is a populist, libertarian, conservative news outlet in the US. I'm one of the senior editors there, and we've been a fan of Trump for a little while. We, I think, have represented a necessary counterbalance to a lot of the name-calling and hectoring from the progressive left. And, you know, we've done a really good job, and gratifyingly, we're becoming one of the, the rising powers in the American media landscape.
It has become notorious for provocative headlines, condemned by some as racist and misogynist. Steve Bannon has been described as a white nationalist, but he firmly rejects the label.
Trump is not a very ideological person. Trump has a sort of gut-level understanding of politics. He's not a theorist. Steve Bannon is a theorist, and Steve Bannon has a theory of populist nationalism that is not Republican and is not Democrat, and that's the ideology he wants Donald Trump to embody as president.
He demands results, but he's, I think Bloomberg called him the most dangerous political operative in America, for good reason, because the guy's incredible. He's compassionate and hardworking and very well connected.
I think it's very much a preview of the next 4 years. I think, Trump is going to put the people he believes in his government. His campaign was very much styled as a war on political correctness. I think there's a lot of fear among liberals that he believes that dissent is unfair, that criticism is unfair. And once he has the apparatus of the state at his disposal, that could be a very frightening thing.
He's made it so that it is no longer a taboo subject to be a white nationalist. He's made it okay. He's going to be, the top advisor to the President of the United States. And with that, he has an enormous amount of power, which is already on top of the significant sort of online power that he has through the white nationalist movement.
No fascist USA. No Bannon. No KKK. No fascist USA. No Bannon. No KKK. No fascist USA.
Steve Bannon is someone that we are very concerned about as a Muslim community. We are also concerned for some of the other things that he has said that has attacked vulnerable populations, vulnerable citizens in our country. We will wait and see.
Ours was not a campaign, but rather an incredible and great movement, made up of millions of hardworking men and women who love their country and want a better, brighter future for themselves and for their family. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer.
The voters who favored Trump the most strongly were the oldest voters. Nostalgia was an overt theme of the Trump campaign. If you think about his slogan, "Make America Great Again," it was a literal assertion that this country used to be a better place than it is now.
Quality in the things we buy is designed in, built in, and inspected in from start to finish.
The people that elected Donald Trump are really legitimate Americans that have a real legitimate gripe about where this country's gone. But when you see the areas that are red throughout all the states representing the ones that voted for Donald Trump, this country is straight up red now because, man, we rose up. I knew, I could feel it in my gut, I still can, is that the guy that sits down at the kitchen table every night with his family looked around and said, what about me? It's the forgotten man. That forgotten man's still out there. And we, with grease under our fingernails, and I've got a lot of that too, I've been on those kind of jobs, we're the people that got forgotten. They took our jobs, they took they take our tax dollars, they finance all kinds of largesse and welfare programs.
In Michigan, a state that has historically voted Democrat, Donald Trump delivered a symbolic upset in small towns and rural communities.
I think the economy drove Donald Trump's vote a lot, but it cannot be separated from the problems with culture in this country. We have a very, very deep problem, between the races and between regions. That combined with sort of economic malaise in a lot of people's minds, even if the economy is doing much better than it was 8 years ago or 10 years ago, they don't feel it, they don't see it, they don't believe it. They feel like even if it is doing better, it could evaporate on them at any time. And so that combined with this sort of rapidly changing culture have come together to really create a very toxic environment in the middle of the country.
All those people standing behind Donald Trump at all those rallies, I saw that as, man, this is the sleeping giant that they don't have a clue. And we just knew that we were rising up. This is revolution, man. This was a serious revolution in American terms at the ballot box. And all those people behind, Donald Trump are the people that put mufflers on cars, put roofs on houses, do tax returns for people, that work for a living and said, screw this, I'm tired of it.
Nick is a union member who used to vote Democrat, but his experience working in a factory turned him towards Trump.
You know, the auto industry was hit really hard, and in southeastern Michigan, the auto industry is you know, the major employer. And so there was massive cutbacks. 10 years ago, they sold it to a French company that, you know, came in, and the wages are probably half what they were. And, you know, I was quite liberal for many, many years. And it's just in the last few years that I've found, and I've shocked myself on how fast I've went towards the right. I really have surprised myself.
Economic anxiety and concern about immigration drove him to desert the party he felt no longer represented him.
I don't recognize the Democratic Party anymore. I really don't. They have went in ways that I guess I don't agree with. The political correctness, I think, is been taken to extremes. You know, people are being called racist for just disagreeing with someone, and I find that troubling.
Obama has reduced unemployment significantly. Don't you think the Democrats can be credited with that progress?
The jobs that he's created are not high-paying jobs. There's a big difference. They're not high-paying jobs. He's brought in a lot of service sector jobs, but not manufacturing jobs. Those jobs have left.
What if he doesn't deliver?
We'll have to wait 4 years to get rid of him. But I don't think that he's going to be able to deliver everything that he says he is. But I think that he's going to be moving the country in a different direction, one that, you know, working class people like myself would like to see.
For some, this race was about establishing your identity and security, even if that was at the expense of others.
They understood that he was a bad guy. He's frankly stoking the fires of you know, very dangerous sort of race war potentially in this country. They understand this, and they don't care. They decided that they think he's going to stand up to the people that have been in charge of this country for 40 years, you know, corporate interests, you know, entrenched politicians, those kind of people, and they want them to feel pain. And if that means that black people have to feel pain, or Muslims have to feel pain, or Latinos have to feel pain, or even if their wife has to feel pain, they don't care.
This was not racist by any stretch of the imagination. That's the picture painted. That's 100% lie. This was every color, shape, and stripe in America saying, enough's enough. I want to be able to keep my own money. I want to spend it the way I want it. And I have no problem with paying taxes to pay for responsible things, but quit stealing from me and taking my jobs to China.
I felt like I went from middle class to the lower end, over the last 15, 20 years. And then I see the billions and billions of dollars going out of here, and the money I pay on taxes. It's just not right. And hopefully he's going to change that.
People feel they're under threat. They want to feel change, the very thing many voted for 8 years ago. On election night, Hillary Clinton's campaign was gearing up for an historic victory, but she failed to woo enough women voters, leaving her supporters in a state of despair.
Women are mostly concerned to have a fair workplace, fair child care, affordable health care, opportunities for themselves and their husbands. And these were the conversations that we had about Donald Trump's policies. And I think that women were also very, very interested in trust and wanting to know that they could trust their president. And while Mr. Trump, like I said, is not always very eloquent, I wouldn't want him to be my children's Sunday school teacher.
But you'd like him to be your president?
I would like him to be my president.
For some significant group of the people who voted for Trump, simply having elected him is achievement enough. They have been emotionally gratified by the smashing of the establishments of both parties. That pure expression of their anger and frustration that culminated in putting him in office. It almost doesn't matter what he does, just the fact that they got that has already made their lives significantly better.
Donald Trump is a political brawler who had his finger on the pulse. In Detroit, a bruising presidential battle still feels very fresh.
What happened in your family?
My dad threatened us to kick us out the house, so we had to vote for Hillary Clinton.
You were forced to vote for Hillary
Yeah.
Clinton. Why?
Why? Because I don't want to get kicked out the house.
Donald Trump, you know what, a lot of people might think he's racist and all that, but he's our president. We love him. He's bringing money, and he's going to keep us with our guns. So we love you dearly, Trump.
Who did you vote for?
Me, I voted for Clinton, to be honest, because even though Trump is helping the country, he's only helping, a part of the country, not everybody. That's the way
How
I
do
see
you
it.
feel now and the way you've seen it play out?
The way I see it play out is, I'm still going to make my money. I'm still going to do me, even if it's Trump or Clinton. But I voted to Clinton to help, the poor people, because they need money, they need food. But in the end, I'm still going to do me.
I feel like that he's going to do a great job in office because for one, he's a great businessman. And for one, him being a great businessman, you got to have order and stuff. So I feel like he can get this country in order because obviously it hasn't been in order the way that it should be.
Tell me, who did you vote for?
I voted for Hillary. Hey, the reason why I voted for Hillary is because we don't want our country getting messed up. We don't want it happening. We want somebody with ideals. We want somebody with ideals. We don't want somebody... Donald Trump! Donald Trump! Donald Trump!
The real estate mogul pushed for some highly controversial policies.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
Trump is right.
No, he's not right. Because he insulted all the Muslims, not the bad ones.
He did not insult.
He
you guys,
did.
don't
He
repeat
did.
it. Do not repeat it.
He did.
No, he did not.
Well,
He doesn't want anybody to come to this country to create a problem. We agree with him. We're
documented.
Muslim. We defend him. We are with him. It's not because with him as a person. Don't understand wrong. We are with our country. Even if it's Democrat
But
comments.
Sam, he
or
didn't say
Republican.
ISIS. He didn't say Al-Nusra. He said ban on
this
all
is not my
Muslims.
business. This is
That's
not my
what he
business
said.
to talk about. It's whatever it's going to be
It's
foreign
plain
outside
English.
this country.
What do you think the next 4 years looks like for Muslims in America?
It will be difficult years for Muslims in America. I hope he will be right, but I have a feeling that it will be difficult for
Trust me,
Muslims
this is the right
for
way.
the 4 years.
This is the right way. And we never treat it differently. Never.
Well, this girl was walking to the university campus, and a man came to her and took her scarf, and he said, "Go back to your country. She's American. She born here."
Well,
So do you think this is right?
I don't think.
She's American.
I don't think government can make a decision based on one incident.
This is not one
Listen,
incident.
listen,
This is
listen
one
to me,
of
listen.
many
Yeah,
incidents.
we have.
Are you ready for this, folks? Are you ready? Oh, they're going to make it such a big deal. They're going to make it so big. He said something so politically incorrect. That's why we're going to hell, because we're so politically incorrect. Such a big deal. Such a big deal. I want surveillance of certain mosques, okay? If that's okay. I want surveillance.
A candidate who drew big crowds now faces the complexities of the Constitution.
Once you start making that distinction, once you start saying certain people have to be tracked by the government, you're not that far from, first you have registration, then you have surveillance. The threat's not subtle. The threat is to create a group of disfavored second-class citizens.
But will he be willing to shift?
They're talking about a fence in the Republican Congress.
We will build a great wall along the southern border. We are going to build a great border wall. We're going to build the wall. We have no choice. An impenetrable, physical, tall, powerful, beautiful southern border wall.
Would you accept a fence?
For certain areas, I would.
Are you going to ask for a special prosecutor to investigate Hillary Clinton over her emails?
I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation. Tell Hillary I'm not going to be nice anymore. I've been very nice to her. Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to think about it.
Special prosecutor?
I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to hurt them. They're good people.
Let me ask you about Obamacare, which you say you're going to repeal and replace.
Real change begins with immediately repealing and replacing Obamacare, a disaster.
Are you going to make sure that people with preconditions are still covered?
Yes, because it happens to be one of the strongest assets.
You're going to keep that?
Also, with the children living with their parents for an extended period, you're going
to keep that?
Very much try and keep that.
But, he's been very, very quiet. That's been the most remarkable thing to me, that he hasn't been, literally going down to the White House to measure the drapes, right? I'm kind of shocked that he hasn't done that yet, right? So, yeah.
Donald Trump has never been elected to any office before. This is a new thing for him. One thing that is interesting to me about what he's done so far is he's made very few public statements. This is someone who loves to be seen, loves to be in front of an audience, loves to be on television, loves to speak his mind on Twitter, and he's been relatively restrained.
Thanks, everybody. Hey guys, let's head on out. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Calm down, guys. You all right? Tell me when you're ready. Ready? Okay. Well, I just had the opportunity to have an excellent conversation with President-elect Trump. It was wide-ranging. We talked about some of the organizational issues in setting up a White House. We talked about foreign policy. We talked about domestic policy. And as I said last night, my #1 priority in the coming 2 months is to try to facilitate a transition that ensures our president-elect is successful. I believe that it is important for all of us, regardless of party and regardless of political preferences, to now come together, work together, to deal with the many challenges that we face.
If you saw him when he had that meeting with President Obama, it's probably the realest his face has ever been. He looked like he was shook, because he probably was. Like, Obama probably told him some stuff that he was going to have to deal with that we don't know about, or just sort of really pressed upon him the gravity of the situation and the enormity of his job. Please.
Well, thank you very much, President Obama. This was a meeting that was going to last for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and we were just going to get to know each other. We had never met each other. I have great respect. The meeting lasted for almost an hour and a half.
and it could have, as far as I'm concerned, it could have gone on for a lot longer. He explained some of the difficulties, some of the high-flying assets, and some of the really great things that have been achieved. So, Mr. President, it was a great honor being with you, and I look forward to being with you many, many more times in the future. Thank you, sir.
Mr. President.
Thank you, everybody. We are not going to be taking any questions. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Here's a good rule. Don't answer the questions when they just start.
It's always the
yelling.
last one.
Come on, guys.
So Mr. Trump will seek his counsel?
Come on, guys.
He'll seek his counsel?
Let's go.
Very, very good man.
Thank you,
very
guys.
good man.
Appreciate you. Thank you, guys.
Away from the handshakes, he's blazing a trail, speaking to some world leaders without consulting the State Department and having a phone call with Russia's strongman.
Хочу поздравить американский народ с завершением избирательного цикла.
It's one of the few things Trump's been consistent on, actually, is this love for Putin, and we've seen, he's had a conversation with Putin, one of the first calls that he made upon becoming president-elect.
Господина Дональда Трампа с победой на этих выборах.
His pick for National Security Advisor, General Flynn, is someone who has been close to Putin and close to the Russian government.
Предвыборные заявления еще кандидата в президенты Соединенных Штатов.
Trump said during the campaign that he did not have a problem with Russia being in the Ukraine.
Которые были направлены на восстановление отношений между Россией и Соединенными Штатами.
Going to Putin first was a huge, I think, signal to the rest of the world. Like, he's going to play nice with Vladimir Putin. He's going to try to have a good relationship with Russia, which is just a dramatic break with not only democratic policies, but Republican policies too.
Мы понимаем и отдаем себе отчет в том, что это будет непростой путь с учетом той деградации, в которой, к сожалению, находятся отношения между США. Но Россия готова и хочет восстановления полноформатных отношений с Соединенными Штатами.
At the El Bethel Baptist Church in Detroit, they're praying for guidance.
That you would heal our land, that you would touch our president and our president-to-be. We pray, oh God, that you would help us to live out our faith in such a way that regardless who's in the White House, we would always be true to your house.
In September, Donald Trump attended another church in the city, trying to reach out to African-American voters. Pastor Lawrence Glass was part of a group of faith leaders who objected.
Lots of hate actions have already been reported of individuals who try to intimidate other Americans and fail to realize that before we were Republicans or Democrats, we're Americans and we're in this thing together, and that if you destroy the ship, you drown too.
Look how much African American communities have suffered under Democratic control. To those I say the following: what do you have to lose by trying something new like Trump? What do you have to lose?
Voting rights, human rights, civil rights. You know, for him, when he said that, that was a statement out of ignorance and arrogance. He needs to get in with some of the minority groups and really go through their neighborhood. He needs to go sit down and have lunch with them. He needs to go to the coffee shop, perhaps like Barack did, like President Obama did, and show that he's not afraid of them.
I say it again, what do you have to lose? Look, what do you have to lose? You're living in poverty, your schools are no good, you have no jobs.
Elections are a popularity contest.
One who wins don't mean they're right, and one who loses don't mean they're wrong. It simply means that the masses have spoken.
It's always been a time for America to heal. We've been going through this forever. So this is nothing new for me. We've struggled through it. All we do is believe in God to take us through it, and we will.
You've been through a tunnel before. You know how dark it is, but it's light at the end. That's it. That's what we are going through right now.
Hopefully Donald Trump will try to work with us as the millennials and try to meet us in the middle, and hopefully my friends that are protesting in these major cities will try to meet him in the middle too.
Jedediah Brown was pulled from the stage after his protest at a Trump rally in Chicago in March.
I ran to the podium. I jumped over the barricade, ran to the podium. But I was basically trying to tell the crowd, America's already great without hatred. I was looking at what I felt like was a sea of people who hated me for no reason. They didn't know me, and it was based on things and rhetoric in the campaign.
A recent standoff in the city between African-American activists and people supporting the police has put race relations back in the spotlight.
It was something that I never thought that I would experience in my lifetime. It felt like the 60s, 1960s. We were surrounded by a sea of Caucasian Americans telling us to go back to our side of town, telling us that they would lynch us, carrying Trump signs and saying Trump is gonna, make America great again, is gonna build the wall.
This is what you meant when you said make America great again. This is not great. This isn't great.
And I've never seen such volatile hatred and expression. It just was unbelievable, and I was more in shock than I could be in fear.
But there's tension on both sides. This video shows a man who says he was beaten after a car accident as bystanders shouted, "Don't vote Trump."
There was a gentleman, there was a car accident. I believe that the gentleman had a Trump sticker on his vehicle, and he was very brutally beaten by 4 to 5 unknown African Americans.
Beat his ass!
Don't vote Trump.
Don't vote Trump! Don't vote Trump!
And he was about 50 years old, and he was being beaten very bad. So race relations in Chicago alone has gotten extremely intolerant, and it's terrible.
But Jedediah is now ready to compromise.
I'm going to reach out. I'm going to try to work with our president.
What do you want to tell him?
He's going to have people at the table who don't see the world through his views, and he's going to have people at the table who understand the areas that he say he wants to affect change in. I'm going to tell him that if he's that president that he says he is, then I'm willing to be a citizen that puts my differences down and work with him to make America great again. No, I'm sorry, I had to run off on that one. Oh, no.
Stay with us.
Oh, my God. It's the reality, I think, is starting to hit me doing this interview with you.
The road ahead will be long. Our climb will be steep. We may not get there in 1 year or even in 1 term.
Donald Trump, like Barack Obama 8 years ago, was propelled to victory by people looking for change.
When President Obama was elected, the night he was elected, I climbed on top of the sink, stood on top of the sink, and began to sing, "Oh, Say Can You See," our national anthem. It was the first time in my life I felt that I could sing it and really believe it and feel it like I was a part of a country that really meant something to me, and I meant something to my country.
It is my high honor and distinct privilege to introduce to you the President-elect of the United States of America, Donald Trump.
When Donald Trump was elected, I wanted to climb under the sink, because I was like, wow, you talk about devaluing the history and the participation that African Americans, talk about devaluing it and minimizing it. That was what that election said to me.
I'm reaching out to you for your guidance and your help so that we can work together and unify our great country.
He thanked me. He thanked me, and it was that simple. And I said, now, Mr. Trump, now the work begins. And I'm very, very proud to have supported you. And I had to fight back a little bit of emotion. And it's truly been, one of the greatest opportunities of my entire life.
I will be president for all Americans, and this is so important to me.
But before the business of government, there are fundamental rifts to repair and no easy answers.
There's not a lot of tolerance for different points of view right now in this country. I don't know how that's going to change.
I'm going to make America better by being a nice person, by not protesting and looting.
He's our servant. He is to carry out the wishes of the people, not to carry out the dreams of his family.
Do we have challenges? Absolutely. Are there some changes that need to happen? Yes, probably.
If you think that it's great, that may be all that you need.
What makes America great is that we all stand together as one because we are one amazing, beautiful country.
We're going to get to work immediately for the American people.
I don't know that we can heal in this country, to be honest with you. You know, we're still dealing with the Civil War in the United States. I mean, that's a fact, right? We can't get over that. I'm not sure that we can get over Donald Trump.
We're going to be doing a job that hopefully you'll be so proud of your president. You'll be so proud.
In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., we better learn how to live together as brothers or we're going to die together as fools.
It's been an amazing 2-year period, and I love this country. Thank you very much.